Hello, dear beloveds. Well, I am joining you from my very last night in Mama Bali, and I'm in this beautiful villa at the moment. It's called the John and Yoko room, and it's got this gorgeous backdrop, so I absolutely wanted to share it with you. I think my head's going to be in the way, but I just wanted to join with you before I head back to real life, or before I head back to, well, a very beautiful life, actually, a very glorious life that I love. But I'm very excited to be here with you and Amy and Katie Cruz, who are here with me virtually, for my last night in Ubud after the third level retreat. And it's been a lovely slow return to social media for me. I gave myself permission and time to not run back into social media. We all did a social media blackout for the 7 or 8 days of the third level retreat. I think it ended up being 8 days for me, and it was actually just completely luxurious, and I'm so grateful for that opportunity. I don't think since I began my business have I had really any time away from social media, because of course we have to, talk about what we do. That's part of the, part of the way that we keep people excited and interested. But I am very excited to get to hang out with you today, because I want to talk about something that is, as you know, part of my mission, is to train women as spiritual leaders. And I've had a really beautiful understanding over the week of the third level retreat here in Bali about another layer of what spiritual leadership is for me, and particularly from a divine feminine perspective. What is spiritual leadership when we're talking about the new energy of the divine feminine? Not that the divine feminine is new to earth, but we are new to this time on earth where the patriarchy and the dominance of the toxic masculine energy, not the divine masculine, but the toxic masculine energy, is now beginning to lose its power over us as a society, as the entire world. And we're moving into a new relationship with the divine feminine. And I say a new relationship because I don't believe that it will be the same as it was 8,000 years ago when the matriarchies, when the goddess worship ruled the world, because we are coming into a time of balance. And in fact, the law of gender is not an immutable law, and it's meant to change, and we're seeing that change happening in lots and lots of different ways, in the way that we're coming to the end of patriarchy, in the way that we're seeing gender fluidity and diversity in sexual identification. These are all parts of the ways that we are coming into the balance of the masculine and the feminine within each and every one of us. So if you like, we're evolving beyond the idea of it's either worshipping the goddess or worshipping the masculine version of that. And we're moving into a new age, and that is absolutely what we are here, those of us on this earth at this time who are on this path of awakening. That is what we're here to do and to bring through. And so, for me, I spend a lot of time thinking about what is the new model of the sacred feminine leadership. Is it just simply, where we're now behaving in a overtly feminine way, where we're sort of the things that we previously identified as the feminine, which is, to be in some ways have been born out of it, the model of patriarchy, are they truly what the sacred feminine is about? And I don't think they are. We gathered in secret circles for the last thousands of years because of the absolute terror and fear that we would be discovered, because it was not a safe reality for us, as women, that we, as my beautiful lead mentor in the Institute, Amy, told me today, the red tent came about because women needed a safe space where they could be together and menstruate together and not be in threat for their lives. And so often women's spirituality of the last thousands of years, since patriarchy has been in prominence in the world, has developed in secret and in hiding, and as a way to be able to have that relationship with the divine feminine but not be seen. Even the idea of the Knights Templar and the Rosicrucianism and all of the symbols of the divine feminine were carved in secret into the church churches so that they would not be identified by Christianity and therefore, patriarchy, which is part of the Christianity. So it's a new age. And what is the sacred feminine in that? What is sacred feminine leadership? I don't believe that it's going to be secreting ourselves away, withdrawing ourselves from the world, but actually to rise up and to stand and take our place and to say, this is what I am and this is what I have to say, and I am no longer afraid. I don't need to hide. I don't need to be in secret. I don't need to just gather in places where I am not seen by the world and I'm not seen by men, because in fact the balance that will be restored to the divine masculine will come when the divine feminine does not hide herself away anymore, and she takes her place at the front of the room, at the front of the stage, at the where in the community hall, or in the retreat center, wherever it is that she is called to serve, that she will not be afraid of her power. And so that is a very important aspect of this new age of what is the sacred feminine, because we don't know what this new model of the sacred feminine leadership will be. We don't know what spiritual leadership will be in its full expression, because we are still emerging into this new age, and it's incredibly exciting. The last thing that I want for us to do is to replicate these thousands of years where we as women have had to be in secret because of our relationship to the divine was seen as a threat to patriarchy. Our power was so great, we had to be squashed down and we had to go into hiding, and now we do not. Now we can claim our place and we can be front and center, and we do not have to politely sit down and hide ourselves away. So that's one aspect of spiritual leadership that I wanted to talk about today. Is let's see what this new model is. Let's all discover what the model of sacred feminine leadership is together, and let's not try and figure it all out straight away, because I think if we do that, we shut down the potential to discover something new. Remembering that this does not mean it's about women or men, it's about that balance and overcoming the toxic masculinity to reclaim that divine masculine, to reclaim that divine feminine within each of us. The other part I want to share with you about spiritual leadership that really anchored into me during this incredible week with these truly courageous women and the amazing lead mentors, Gemma and Amy, on this time here in Mama Bali, where the work is so deep. Everything gets kind of accelerated and we go deeper when we gather here in this sacred place, is that what spiritual leadership is to me is the ability to see God in the other when they cannot see God in you. So what does it mean to be able to see God in someone who's rejecting you, someone who's trying to hurt you, someone who doesn't even like you, someone who maybe is trying to control you, in any form of fear? What is it to be able to see beyond that and to see God in the other, even when they cannot see God in you? And to me, that is true spiritual leadership. And, as someone who identifies as a spiritual leader, as the leader of an institute that trains women as spiritual leaders, my faith has been tested, I guess, most in this when people hit upper limits, spiritual upper limits, and I'll do a live about that in the coming days, because I think that's really important. When people hit spiritual upper limits, they will often withdraw into this idea that the other person, as in you, the one who represents God or is that infinite power, is going to be the messenger, if you like. So that we shoot the messenger, I guess is what I'm trying to say. We shoot the messenger, and we are unwilling to meet that upper limit of our own capacity to know ourselves as God. We cannot know ourselves as God if we cannot see God in the other, even when they cannot see God in us. I'm going to repeat that because I think that's vital. We cannot know ourselves as God, which is the heart and soul of my work, if we cannot see God in the other. It's easy to see God in the other when you're being approved of, when you're being loved, when you're being adored. But what is it to see God in the other when they cannot see it in you? And to me, that is spiritual leadership. And, it is part of my responsibility, and I've written about this elsewhere, that as people meet that spiritual upper limit, I will often be the thing that's associated with that, and they will withdraw from me because I'm the messenger. I'm the one saying, you are God, see yourself as God, and that resistance to knowing themselves as God will often play out through rejection of the messenger. That I now have learned, and I have to keep reminding myself to take as simply evidence of the power of this work and this way into spiritual leadership, this capacity to be able to see through the illusion, through the dream, to the truth of that person, even when they cannot see the truth of what they are. Does that mean you have to hang around and let yourself be bullied or pushed around? Of course not, you know. And very often when I do become the target of someone's spiritual upper limit and they don't see me in that loving light anymore, my job is to have those very clear boundaries and to be very discerning about what I will and won't accept. To sum all of that up though, these are two really big things for me, is that let's stay open to the possibility of what is this new model of the sacred feminine. And I've had wonderful conversations with the lead mentors, Amy and Gemma, this week about this. And let's stay open rather than trying to say this is what it is. And the other part of that is spiritual leadership, to me, in a nutshell, is the willingness, the ability to see God in the other, even when they cannot see God in you, even when they're rejecting you, even when they're hating you. The ability to not lose that place, that spiritual sight, that cultivation of spiritual sight being the key to spiritual leadership. Okay, dear ones, I miss you too, my darling Jess. I'm home tomorrow. We can hang out. Have a beautiful evening wherever you are. I am going to go and hang out with my glorious lead mentors who are so supportive and so kind and really just have made this week so amazing for me. Mwah. Have a beautiful, beautiful evening wherever you are, and I'll see you all very soon.